Will you tell me the honest truth about something?
I'll try.
Do you still say your prayers?
Last Saturday night, I went to see the new horror thriller, Longlegs, a film being touted by many as the best horror film of the year and the new Silence of the Lambs. So, what did I think? It's the early 90s, and newly commissioned FBI agent Lee Harker, played by Micah Monroe, is assigned to the hunt for the satanic serial killer known by the moniker Longlegs, played by an unrecognisable Nicolas Cage. But as the case progresses, Harker begins to discover very personal and disturbing links to the killer. You know, my wife will tell you there's a term I use for ridiculous moments in movies. You usually find them in such works as the lesser adaptations of Stephen King, such as The Mangler, Graveyard Shift, or Maximum Overdrive.
The Giants.
Moments that are so ludicrous, so ridiculous, that they actually take you out of the movie. Moments I like to call, and the spoon was alive.
What is going on? I don't know!
So why am I bringing this up? Well, we'll come back to that later. Now before I go any further, I have to admit, whoever came up with the marketing for this film is a ruddy genius. Between the online word of mouth, positive reviews, and a trailer that captures perfectly the disjointed and disturbing atmosphere of the film, they have generated a momentum of interest films with 10 times the budget could only dream of. And so, that's how last Saturday night, myself and my wife found ourselves sitting in a sold-out performance in our local multiplex, something I have not seen all year. So the question is, Longlegs, is it worthy of all the hype? Well, the answer is a resounding no. With an opening shot that starts in 16mm before the image expands slowly to 35, I will admit this film is visually astonishing. Writer-director Osgood Perkins, best known for the films Gretel and Hansel and the Blackcoat's Daughter, shows a masterful command when it comes to framing, sounds, and imagery. In particular, the use of cutaways. In the hands of another director, this would become annoying, but Perkins manages to make it feel like a comic book come to life. The opening scene, where Harker and her partner are carrying out door-to-door inquiries, the way Perkins shoots it, down to the angles of the buildings, is reminiscent of Alan Moore's seminal work From Hell. While the unease Perkins conveys in every scene, every frame, daring the audience to question what they are seeing, I haven't seen anything quite like this since perhaps Jacob's Ladder.
Every day, Jacob Singer goes to work.
What's wrong?
It's one of those days.
And every day, he wonders what is happening to him.
Maybe it's the pressure, Jake.
They're like demons, Jess.
But very quickly, as you sit there watching this admittedly fantastic looking film, you realise on every other level, this film lacks substance. And that is the fault of Perkins as the screenwriter. Take the performances. Micah Monroe does her best with the role she is given as Agent Lee Harker. But she plays the role with one note. Taciturn. Now, this is amusing in a scene where a 9-year-old invites her to their birthday party, but Harker as a character never grows, never develops. Another screenwriter perhaps would develop the character to help the audience understand who she is, say like Agent Starling in the aforementioned Silence of the Lambs.
You spook easily, Starling?
Not yet, sir.
But Harker never evolves, never moves on. Her performance is the exact same on page 90 as it is on page 1. As for Nicolas Cage as Longlegs, the satanic killer, let's put it this way. It's unique. It was a brilliant move not to show him clearly in any of the trailers or the promotions, because when he does, his performance goes from disturbing to downright laughable in what appears almost to be a parody of Buffalo Bill and Kevin Spacey from Seven. It's a committed performance, but it's a performance that had some in the cinema audience sniggering. In fact, despite the praise from critics, however misguided for Cage's performance, the film truly belongs to Alicia Witt, plays Harker's mother, who is obviously disturbed. Every time Wit is on screen, she leaves you with a feeling of unease that fits perfectly into the mood of this film.
I never said my prayers, never once.
Prayers don't do a goddamn thing.
But as I said before, mood cannot replace substance. The film is also hampered by a complete lack of focus. We know the basic outline of the film, but when it comes to plot and subtext, this film flies off on tangents. Is it about trauma, abuse, religion, strained relationships? The screenplay can never settle on just one aspect. Perkins seems so obsessed on showing how clever he is that it becomes irritating, while never answering a single question it poses. Then we come to the film's biggest problem. "And the spoon was alive" moment. This moment that comes in the third act is so ludicrous, so idiotic, that it derails the film's own internal logic. And it does so with such force that instead of watching the final 20 minutes of the film, you're going to be distracted considering the numerous plot holes that moment creates in what has come before, helping to make the finale not only overwrought, but kind of stupid. Or, as the guy sitting in the theatre behind myself and my wife put it so eloquently as the lights came up, "But that's bollocks!"
Order! Order!
Longlegs is actually the perfect example of why I started this channel, because I believe in being honest in reviews. You can disagree with me, that's fine, but I will always be honest. Unlike the critics who are telling us this is the scariest film of the year? Creepy, yes, but I've been on Ghost Trains more scary. Instead, what you get is a film that is overblown, tired, and if you aren't really into the genre of horror, bordering on boring, with a final act that gets very, very silly. Now, Longlegs is well directed and far from the worst film of the year, but it's not worth watching more than once. It's an empty film, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. But if you've watched this review, and you still want to watch a disturbing horror thriller that epitomizes the darkness in men's souls, then may I suggest Seven?
All right, stop it! Stop it right there. Go on, fill up the bowl.
And if you liked this episode of So What Did I Think, and want to see more, please click like and subscribe. Remember, always subscribe. Thanks for watching.